Happy Sabbath. It's good to see you guys all here today. I want to say before we begin that many of you guys have actually already know who we are. Some of you guys have known me even before I joined this church and have seen me move here to Texas, living independently, getting married, and now stepping into the role of being a parent. And as grateful as I am to have you all in our lives, it has made preparing this testimony that much more difficult because I feel you guys already know so much already about us. However, for those who may not remember or would like to know, this is a quick summary of our background. Next slide, please. This is us when we met back in 2019. Next slide. This is us when we got married in 2021. Next slide. And this is us when we had Caleb come into our lives last year. When Pastor reached out requesting to share our testimony, he asked us this question. Next slide. How has God been leading in your lives? Well, if there's anything to share how God leads our lives, I believe he's been constantly guiding and supporting us. One prime example of this is how Caleb came to be in our lives. Most of you probably wouldn't know, but it took, next slide, 2 miscarriages, 2 surgeries, over 6 months of weekly lab draws and ultrasounds, multiple daily injections, and 1 hospitalization for Caleb to come into this world. You may think this is a lot to go through, and it is, but I think the toughest struggle was the emotional toll for us and our families. Next slide. You see, with every pregnancy leading up to Caleb's arrival, we experienced hope and disappointment side by side. It was not only disappointing for us, but also sharing the news with our parents was quite heartbreaking, especially Kevin's dad. Next slide. This is Kevin's dad. He's nearing 80 years without any grandkids. But even though I knew God would provide, I worried that every pregnancy would result in another miscarriage. Looking back now, I believe every setback was a blessing from God. He wasn't withholding this blessing to be cruel or to deny us, but instead, he helped us realize that every child is a gift and blessing given by God in his perfect timing. Next slide. He was leading us into a deeper faith by reminding us that our identity isn't just about being a parent, but more about being his children first. Just as John writes in 1 John 3:1, see what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. I think it's amazing that God calls us to be his children. And as his children, we should trust God and continue to move forward with the belief that he is leading and guiding us in every way. And because of God's perfect timing, we were able to experience his blessing with Kevin's parents, Mommy and Baba. Next slide. This is us celebrating Baba's 79th birthday. During the celebration, we decided to surprise them with the gender reveal of our baby, followed by a letter addressed to them by Caleb. I'd like for you guys to all, I'd like to share all of this experience with you guys. Next slide, please. This one's a video.
I guess it's a boy.
What does it say, Papa?
Is it a boy?
What is
I don't know what
it?
it
It
say.
say something.
Boy. Because the paper is proof. That's why I say it's boy.
The next video is a video of Caleb. Well, he wasn't born yet, but it's a video of him sending a message to his grandparents.
I do not yet have eyes to see or an ability to speak, yet I know how special it will be on the day we finally meet.
Oh my goodness.
She made
this.
these.
Oh.
She made all this. Although
all
I
this
didn't
stuff?
know what I'll gain, but I hope one day to have EE's brains. Yeah, brains. And one day I hope to take after Mama. And have sweet positivity. But all this will change come next year when they say I am due. I am your newest grandchild, and I can't wait to meet you.
Oh, so nice.
All I ask between now and then is your love for me to grow. Did we skip one? No, I think I skipped one. So as you wait patiently, please pray lots of prayers for me. I can't wait to be a part. I promise I'll be worth the wait. Just think of all the joy we'll know of this wonderful family.
Oh, well, I put up the message up there so that you guys can read along since the video was a little out of order. But regardless, through this experience, I learned that each and every one of us are all God's precious children. And so as we face any troubles, know that God has a plan. And like the hymnal we sang today, let's all trust and obey.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. I didn't get to send in the photos because I didn't get the time to, but here's my testimony. Now, back in Jamaica, where I'm from, I work with one of the largest distribution company in Jamaica. We are a group of company. We have distribution, manufacture, pharmaceutical, and also MoneyGram. Now, I worked in distribution, but my job titles had to do with pharmaceutical and distribution. So my titles were, I work in account. I am an accountant, but also a trained teacher. I was responsible for the welfare of the entire accounts department. I was also responsible for inventory, purchasing stationery inks. I was also in charge of, it's a lot of things. I had a lot of titles, I'm telling you. I was also in charge of drivers who distributed the goods. When they come back in, I was in charge of giving them the receipt books, checking receipt books for any discrepancy in payments, and making sure that what the receipt books tell me, that is what comes back to the company. I was also in charge of admin for the chief financial officer. I had a lot of titles, and why I had these titles because of my work ethics, my military background training, my teaching experience. All those, being in the military helps you to know time management, organizing, and prioritizing. So because of my background, each boss gives me more. So I had this boss, a new boss came with all those titles that I have. When she came, she immediately didn't like me. I didn't know why, but only to find out later on that she knew my sister, who was another chief financial officer, and she found out that I was a sister of my sister, and somehow she didn't like me. So each time she tried to put me down, I keep rising up. So this happened, I was to come to Texas here because my grandson was going to be born in December of 2021. During COVID, I didn't take any vacation leave. So I had a lot of vacation leaves. So I applied for 6 weeks to come to Texas for the birth of my grandchild. First, she didn't want to approve my leave, but I got it because I worked all through when COVID started. So before I left to come to Texas, because I'm in charge of purchasing stationery and everything for the company, I asked everyone, do you want anything before I leave because I'm going on vacation? Everyone sent their list, and I supplied them with whatever they wanted. But having so many titles in the company, also fixed asset for the company, I was a fixed asset officer. Having so many titles, I keep asking for someone else because I don't want not to be there and something goes wrong, and she always say no. But I was able, with God's help, that I do my job. People used to ask, how you have all these titles and you do things correct way, but you see, I'm a sort of person, I'm a detailed person, and I do things by the book. So the policy is there, and I do it by the book. So before that, my sister, who was a chief financial officer, left because I started working there. So she left because, two siblings in the same department doesn't look good. and is accounts. So she left, but before she left, she made this policy for accounts department. So this new boss came on, and the board asked her to do another policy. And I was the one who keeps the file, the confidential files for the company too. So you see, I have a lot of hats. She did a policy, or so she said, but she just changed the name on the policy and put a different date. So when it comes to me for filing and I'm looking at it, I'm saying, but my sister wrote this policy. The only thing changed on it is the name and the date. And I produced my sister's policy that she made for the department, and she further hated me for that because I wasn't to let people know that it was the same policy. She didn't do anything more than change her name and the date. But however, I came to Texas, as I told you, for the birth of my grandchild. I wasn't there for the birth of the first one, so I want to be there for the second one. And I came to Texas. Now, while I'm in Texas, she keep calling my phone, and I wasn't answering. Only to find out that the chairman office ran out of ink, and the customer service department ran out of ink because it was near Christmas, and there was a lot of orders. Now, she didn't know where I got the inks from. She didn't know suppliers. She didn't know numbers to call. Neither my supervisor did. That's why I keep asking them, get someone else. And she was upset. No, the chairman office, it wasn't good for her. I can tell you. It wasn't good. So I was to go back to Jamaica like the 1st of January, 2022, but I did not. I went back on the 6th because I went to a gym with my son, and two persons there had COVID, so I had to be cleared before I traveled back. And that she got more angry. Upon coming up the airplane at Montego Bay, as soon as I stepped in custom, there goes my phone. Where are you? Where are you? You were supposed to be back at work, and and ink. So I'm saying, these are the supplier. That was she, and then my supervisor called, and I said, these are the suppliers. Call them. Just tell them that it's me, and I need something urgent. Well, they got the inks. But when I went back to work, before I could even go back to my office, she said I should report to her before I even sit down. I put down my bag. And that lady rushed me. I do not want in my department. You are very inefficient. And she went on and she rushed me. And I felt bad, and I allowed her to rush me. But only to find out that because the chairman said that she wasn't doing a good job. That's why she took it out on me. I let her do all she done, and I said, with due respect, ma'am, I don't appreciate you shout at me. Who dare you talk back to me? That was how she spoke to me. I said, I didn't do anything wrong. But she said, I don't want in my department, so she took all the titles I had from me and said that I should leave her department. I said, go where? I mean, I need a letter from HR before I move. I'm not moving because you tell me. Please do it the proper way. So HR sent me a letter that I should leave the department and report to another department. So I'm telling you, it wasn't nice. I didn't cry in front of them, but I went home, and each evening I cried. The credit officer called me the next day and said, Cheryl, what's really going on with you and the head of the department? And I was telling her, and she said, don't you worry. I'm going to put in my department. I'm telling you, she said that I should be filing the lowest job after all my titles. I should be filing. The other boss said that. And this boss now, the credit officer said, you have too much knowledge of this company, and you always work good. Your work ethic is good. The chairman always talking about it. You don't worry. Going to filing for a day. I'll get back to you. And I went to filing for a day. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to cut it short, but I'm telling you, God brought me to the lowest pit of my life. But then he brought me up. The next day, you're going to be trained to be the company's cashier. I said, me? Yes, you. I was the company's cashier till I become a supervisor, teaching others to be the company's cashier, checking off everybody, the warehouse, the main cashier. I also became a credit officer. I'm calling people, investigating people who want to do business with a company. And I'm telling you, it didn't stop there. I got back welfare because I was the one who plans motivational weekend for the company. I was on the company's committee now to plan motivational weekend, sports day, and all of that. And I'm telling you, each time she comes around, the other boss saw me. What is she doing in the cashier cage? What is she doing here? And I'm like having a smile on my face. Oh, good morning. I'm telling you, she got so confused. Why is she happy? Yes, she got so confused. Why is she happy? And she went to the credit officer. Who put her in these jobs? And the credit officer is saying, chairman said to give her these jobs. No, that is not right. Even when bonus times come, everybody get bonus. I did not, and I went to the credit officer. How come Cheryl don't get her bonus? And I'm telling my salary went up. I got bonuses for my work that I'm doing and other little things from chairman. Because of the work I did in the company. I was the one who could tell her that a driver stole money. It's sad to say during my tenure there, 2 drivers got 10 years in prison because of the discrepancy that I found with the books, and that the warehouse manager got fired because he used to steal goods from the warehouse. And it was because, as I tell you, my military training, my instinct, my intuition led me to investigate certain things, and they found out. And I'm telling you, that lady was so upset that I was the one doing these things. But you see, God, as I said before, God take you through things, put you at the bottom of the pit. So when you're not there, don't question why. Just continue praising the Lord. And say, thank you, Jesus, because he put you there for a reason to bring you back up. And even when I left that company, one day I was at my desk and something just said, Cheryl, it's time to leave. So I started taking little things home, until one Friday I told my friend there. I had one friend. I'm the type of person, I go to work, I don't keep friends, I do my work. And I speak to you just because of the job, as somebody would say, when you're at the desk, hold your head down, do your work, but listen, always listen, and be aware of what's around you. And that's what I did. And I got up the Friday and said, hey, Dwayne, this is my last day. I said, what are you talking about? I said, this is my last day. And I went home. Monday morning, he called, where are you? I said, this is my last day. Because nobody believed that I was going to leave. But I've been better since, and God has been putting me up since. So I'm happy and rejoicing. And that is my testimony. So when you're down, don't question it. God is still with you. You're not alone. And this song, he took me through my trials and gave me comfort. Please listen to the words. When you're up against the wall and your mountain seems so tall, and you realize that life's not always fair, you can run away and hide, or let the old man decide, or you can change your circumstances with prayer. When everything falls apart, praise his name. When you have a broken heart, lift your hands and say, Lord, you're all I need. You're everything to me, and you'll take the pain away. When it seems you're all alone, praise his name. And you feel you can't go on, just raise your hands and say, Greater is He that is within me, and you can praise the hurt away. Oh, you can overcome by the power of the Lamb and by the words of your testimony. You see the darkness go as your faith begins to grow. You're not alone, so how can you be lonely when everything falls apart? Praise His name, and when you have a broken heart, just raise your hands and say, Lord, you're all I need. You're everything to me, and you'll take the pain away. When it seems you're all alone, just praise His name, and you feel you can't go on. Just lift your hands and say, greater is He that is within me, and you can praise the hurt away. Greater is He that is within me, and you can praise the hurt away. If you just praise His name.